Yeah, you can go ahead, Afi.
All right, hi everyone. Good afternoon again. My name is Afi. My name is Abigail. Most people call me Afi, and today we are going to talk about how to contribute to open source. Don has done a great job talking about like lots of things I mentioned, including the licenses, how to contribute, certain opportunities. I'll quickly go through a little bit of slides, and then Duncan will come in with like more like a short demo of Git commands that you will need to contribute to open source projects. If you have any question, you can drop it in the chat. I'll reply as soon as I'm done, and then we'll kick it off from there. So give me a second to just show my screen. Yeah, I'm guessing my screen is visible now, right? So starting off with this, okay. So once again, my name is Abigail Afirago. You can just call me Afi, and that's fine. Today, we are just briefly going to look at open source, how to contribute, communities and opportunities, and best practices. So, Dawn already talked about what open source is and what the model is, and her experience in imitating and the steps that she takes to reinvent certain things. So certain opportunities of open source has already been highlighted, how it gives opportunities, gives you real life experiences, helps you give back to community and enhances your coding skills and also increases your reputation or popularity. Um, Also with the licenses, we already touched on it. There's the MIT, Apache, the GNU, then the BSD. There are other ones that are also on the market out there. So depending on what the project is for, how you want it to be distributed or used, you have to like look it up and then choose one that fits the criteria. There's also a link for checking up the open source licenses, and that's opensource.org/license. I'll drop this in the chat if you need it. I mean the slides. So generally for contributing, what has worked for me is knowing what your interests are and the skills. Don't mention she not having strong C Python skills, but she has a reference book that she uses to sort of look up certain things, and then she goes to the code base, replicates, and then it works out for her. You could try and test what works out for you. You could see what aligns with your interest in terms of programming languages and the field. So you could contribute to open source through documentation, events, code, design, and so many like other more things. The next step I would personally do is to research into the project. So you probably find out what the project is about, you set it up locally, you run it, and then you see how best you can contribute based on the tags that are available on the repo. One key point, which is also tied to the research into projects, is the README because most projects have a README or guide or documentation that you could use to like find out what the project is about. Moving on, we have VCS, the version control system, or the Git command. So these are very essential because you need to collaborate in an environment with other people, right? So this will come in, Duncan will come in with this after me, and you will understand everything. As I already said, setting up a dev environment will help you understand the project, and it's mostly in a README. So when you get the project that you found, let's say it's in Rust, right? And you look at the README or the docs and you're able to set it up, it's a way for you to contribute to it because you cannot contribute to a project mostly without setting up the dev environment and seeing how the project works. And the last point is making your first contribution, which is more like a big step. And there are certain issues that have the label good first issue, and there are certain sites that have collated a lot of issues that are beginner friendly so that you don't really have to stress or find something that's a little bit very technical. There are a lot of labels that have that good first issue so that you just choose it and then work on it. The link is what's displayed up there. There are certain things that should be like you should note. So you may feel overwhelmed and intimidated because other people have a lot of skills and it's not a joke. You will struggle to also understand the project structure and code base. You could ask in the Slack chat because most of the communities or events they have the Slack chats, they have forums, Discord. Try and join, put your question there. There are help channels. Mostly is the hash sign and then help. Try and put your questions in there, and then it's people. Someone would obviously and definitely get back to you on that. Sometimes you may also meet a community that's you may feel it's unwelcoming based on your experience and where you're from, because we all come from different backgrounds and culture is something that really plays a big role when you're meeting other communities. For the contribution, I already mentioned code, but there are other ways to contribute, like the adding more information to the user guide, the style guide, design, UX, QA, API documentation, writing tutorials. Don't also mention dev.to. I think that would also come under the writing tutorials because there are a lot of platforms that you could use to write articles, be paid for it, and then also learn more and collaborate with other people. There's also translation, localization, marketing and outreach, and then helping out with fundraising and donations. All these are part of non-code contributions. So now we are moving on to the third part, which is OSS communities and opportunities. All these are examples of opportunities that run through the year. Currently, we are at the GSOD, that's the Global Season of Dogs. You have Outreach, which runs twice a year, Global Summer of Code, sorry, Outreach is repeated again. You have the LFX, the Major League Hacking. This week or next 3 weeks, I'm not really sure, but I know the Major League Hacking is partnering with All In, All In Africa. It's an open source initiative by GitHub, so you could look for that and sign up. There's more. It's more like a hackathon that's happening in between like these two organizations, and there are certain awards and prizes. And in the end, the main goal is to contribute to open source, even if you're a beginner. There's a Free Software Foundation internship, Hacktoberfest, which happens in October. All in GitHub, and then all these are all opportunities that you could probably look at or look into when you're free. For the design, I've found these two organizations as main ones that have a lot of open source issues, and it's Figma and Penport. So, in case you're into design and not code or non-code, this another alternative. And under the open source design sites, there are a lot of jobs they are currently hiring. So, if you're into open source design, can you look that up? For tech communities, there are so many more. You have Jenkins, Django, Ruby on Rails, Python. The JavaScript community in Ghana, currently we have React Ghana. Duncan is, Ephraim is a lead, so you can talk to him about that if you have questions. We have the Google Developers Group, and then the one for the Students Clubs, which is a DSC. You have OpenStreetMap, Genome or GNOME, Chaos Projects, Figma, Wikipedia, and its sister projects like Wikipedia, Wikidata, and other projects. For best practices, these are a few that I think have worked for me, and it's following project guidelines and coding standards. Every single project has its guidelines that you have to follow. Code of conduct, you should be respectful and courteous because, as I said, culture could play a very, very big role. We are all from different backgrounds. The things that may seem cool to you here may not seem cool out there. You have to communicate efficiently via Slack or the approved channels. Other ones are like Discord, which is very common now. Be mindful of culture and bias. I've already mentioned that. Improve on what you meet. So if you meet a tool and you could see something else could be done to improve it, or documentation, anything, even an event, try and submit like your feedback. Learn how to accept feedback on what you deliver. Let's say a task or an assignment, it could be anything. Learn how to give updates. Don't wait for, let's say, your mentor to come to you, or the people who you are working on a particular task within open source come to you before you give updates. Learn to have the system where you give updates so that it's easier to track the progress of the project. And also one of the most important is understanding how the project works, because that will give you the chance to contribute and help you close tax efficiently. If you want more like details, the link is below. I can share this slide when I'm done so that you go through. So rounding off everything I've said, open source a way of kickstarting and enriching your career, and they welcome all contributions from docs to code. In the beginning, you may feel a bit lost, but just know that there are people out there who would always help you out, and then maintain a growth mindset, not a fixed one. So thank you so much. My name is Afi once again. I'll look in the comment section if you have questions, or if you have any questions, I'm sure Kafi can coordinate that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Afi. Anyone with question? Any question, please? Okay, so we'll move on to our last. Okay, good. We'll move on to our last speaker, Ephraim.